Hello children, so this is your second part of your third lesson, Animal Kingdom. So now we are going to see about the different phylums. So in the last class itself, I have explained you about what are the bases of classification. That is on what basis the animal kingdom classification has been made. So all the criteria we have discussed in the previous class. So now we are going to see the various phylums, that is the various groups inside the animal kingdom. First is phylum Porifera. So the members present in this phylum, they are commonly called as sponges. So all these sponges are included under phylum Porifera. So usually these are marine. They live in sea water only and they are asymmetrical. So what is asymmetrical? When they are divided, they cannot be divided into, in whatever way we divide, it is not divided into equal halves. And these sponges, they are primitive. They have not well developed and they are primitive and multicellular animals, that is more than one cells are present in this animal, and they have cellular level organization. So in the starting of the lesson itself I told sponges are loosely packed, so they are coming under cellular level organization. So sponges have a water transport or canal system. So inside the body of the sponges, if you see, means there is a water channel for transporting. So for transporting water, the sponges has been designed like that. So what happens? Water enters into the body of the sponge. Why? Because it is under the water. So how it enters means it has small minute pores on it called ostia in the body wall. So in the image you can see the structure of the sponges. So what happens? Water enters through the minute pores called ostia. It is present on the body wall, and in the center they have a central cavity and spongocele. So from that only the water goes through the osculum, and this pathway of water transport is helpful for food gathering, respiratory exchange and removal of waste. So when water flows like this, in this way they get food materials and gas is also exchanged, and what happens? The waste is also being removed. So the water keeps circulating like this through the minute pores ostia and central cavity spongocele, and to enter into the spongocele it has to go through the osculum. So in this way the water circulates, and the body, it is supported by a skeleton. That skeleton is made up of spicules or sponging fibers. So it is a different kind of fiber present for the sponges. So that is the skeletal system of the porifera body. An example of phylum porifera is spongella. So I have put the image on the screen for you. So this is a freshwater sponge. It is not present in marine water. It is a freshwater sponge. And next is Euspongia. So this is a bathe sponge. For since it looks like a bathing sponge, it is known as a bathe sponge. Next is phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. So these organisms, they are aquatic, that is they survive only in water, usually in marine water. There are also survive in fresh water also, but only some of them. Mostly they are marine and they are sessile, that means they are very soft and free swimming, and they are radially symmetrical, that is from the central axis. When they are divided in any axis, they can be divided into equal halves. And the name Cnidaria, it is derived from the term nidoblast or nidocytes, that means they have stinging capsules or nematocytes, that means they have stings. So like the scorpio that has stings to poison its prey. So likewise, the stingings are present on the coelenterata, and nidoblast, they are also used for anchorage. So like the roots that are used to fix the plants to the soil, likewise nidoblasts are also present for the anchorage, and they also help in defense. If any animal attacks, for the defense system, these nidoblasts are used, and for capturing the prey. And some of the nidarians, example corals, they have skeleton which is composed of calcium carbonate. So example for coelenterata is Physalia. The common name of it is Portuguese man of war. The next phylum is Phylum Ctenophora. So these ctenophores, they are commonly called as sea walnuts or comb jellies. So all the jellies that are under the water comes under Ctenophora. So these ctenophoras, they are usually survive in marine waters and radially symmetrical. That is, from the central axis, in whatever way we divide, it will divide into equal halves. And diploblastic organization, that is, two layered is present, and with tissue level organization. So the tissues are well complex and well developed. And the body has 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates. So externally, if you see, means there are 8 external rows, small ciliated, small hairs are present over its body, and those hairs only will help for the movement, for the locomotion. And the digestion occurs outside the cell and also inside the cell. So it is bioluminescence, that is, on the dark it will glow. The property, it has to the property to emit light. And example, fluorobrachia. So that is an example for Ctenophora phylum. Next phylum is Phylum Platyhelminthes. So this Platyhelminthes, they have a flattened body structures, that is, on both dorsal side and ventral side the body will be suppressed and it will be flat. So that is why it is called as flatworms. So these flatworms, they are endoparasites. So endoparasites means they will live inside any host organism, that is, it may be plant or animal. Inside the body of the plant or animal only these worms will survive, and usually it is found in animals, these endoparasites. So for example, human beings, any animal it may be, so it will be present inside the body of human beings or any plants. So those are only called as endoparasites. And these flatworms, they are bilateral symmetry, that is, when we divide in the central axis, it will be divided into two equal halves. And they are triploblastic, that is, three layers are present, and acelomate, no body cavity is present, with organ level organization. The organ is well developed. And these platyhelminthes, they have hooks and suckers. So for since they are parasites, since they are present inside a living body, they need to suck up the nutrients. For that purposes, hooks and suckers are present. And what they do, they absorb the nutrients from the host directly through the body surface. So it is like a leech, it gets attached inside the body and just sucks up the nutrients. So for example, Tinea, also known as tapeworm, and Fasciola, liver fluke. So these are the examples of Phylum Platyhelminthes. Phylum Aschelminthes. So the body of the Aschelminthes is circular when a cross section is taken. So when the as helminthes is taken and cut, and if you see inside, it will have a circular shape inside it. So when cross section is made, it is circular, so that is why it is called as roundworms. So they are free living, or sometimes aquatic, or sometimes terrestrial, sometimes it is parasitic also. That is, it depends on the host animals. It may be plants or animals. And these roundworms, they are organ system level, that is, the organs are well developed, and they are bilateral. When an aschelminthes or roundworm is taken and divided, it will divide into two equal halves, and they are triploblastic, that is, three layers are present, and pseudocoelomate, that is, no coelom is present, a false coelom is present around the gut wall. And the alimentary canal, that is the digestive system, is complete. It has from a well developed muscular pharynx to the intestine. It has a well developed alimentary canal, and an excretory tube is present for removing the waste from the body cavity through an excretory pore. So for example, for aschelminthes is ascaris, the common name is roundworm. Phylum Annelida. So this phylum is aquatic. It may be marine or freshwater living, and sometimes it is terrestrial also. They are free living, and sometimes they are parasitic also. So they exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. That is, if we divide, it will divide into two equal halves, and they are triploblastic. Three layers are present and metamerically segmented. So I have mentioned this term before, that is, the segments present in earthworm are considered as metamerically segment, and they are coelomate. They have body cavity in their digestive system, and they possess a longitudinal circular muscles which help in locomotion. So instead of the presence of cilia and flagella, this has been evolved, and they have got muscles for locomotion. Example, Nereus Feritema, that is nothing but earthworm, and Herodineria, blood sucking leech. So these three are the examples of phylum Annelida. Phylum Arthropoda. So this is the largest phylum in the kingdom Animalia. So all the insects, all the types of insects are included under Arthropoda. Over 2/3 of the named species on earth are arthropods. So in the 1.7 million species, two-thirds, the most of the part is taken by arthropoda, and they has been identified. So they have organ system level of organization. So when they are divided, they will divide into two equal halves, that is, they are bilateral symmetry, and triploblastic, three layers are present, and true coelomate is present. And the body of the arthropods, it is covered with chitinous exoskeleton, that is, they have small hairs, and it is made up of chitin, the skeleton. So that is why it is called as chitinous exoskeleton. And it has a body, a thorax, and an abdomen. So the whole body is being differentiated into head, thorax, and abdomen. And the respiratory organs are gills, book, lungs, and tracheal system. So these are the respiratory organs are present. And circulatory system, it is open type, and sensory organs are antenna and eyes, and balance organs are also present. And for excretion, Malpighian tubules are present. Examples of arthropods are some economically important insect like apis, it is also known as honeybee, and bombyx, also known as silkworm, and lacifer, also known as lac insects. So in the phylum Arthropoda, all the organs have been well developed, and each organ has been specified for specific function. Next phylum is phylum Mollusca. So this is the second largest animal phylum, and molluscas are terrestrial or aquatic. So they may live in land and also in water also. It may be marine or fresh water. So they have organ system level organization. So all the organ systems are well developed, not organs. And they are bilaterally symmetrical. That is when they are divided into two equal halves and three layers are present on them. That is triploblastic and true coelom is present. So they are called as coelomate animals, and the body is covered by a calcareous shell and is unsegmented with distinct head, muscular foot and a visceral hump. So they do not have segments, and a calcareous shell is present over them, and they are divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hump. And a soft spongy layer of skin forms over the visceral hump. So a hump is behind its back and it is covered by a soft spongy layer of skin, and the space between this hump and the mantle is called as mantle cavity. So it has a hump like a camel over it, and the mantle, the cavity between them is known as mantle cavity, in which feather like gills are present, and they have respiratory and excretory functions also. The anterior portion, head region, they have sensory tentacles, and the mouth will have a file like rasping organ for feeding. So it is like a mouth for feeding and it is called as radula. Example, pila, also known as apple snail, and pink tada, also known as pearl oyster. So these are the examples of phylum Mollusca. I hope you would have understood all the different phylums of the animal kingdom and their characteristics. So all of you complete the PDF in that is being sent to you in your WhatsApp group. Please write all your classworks neatly and submit it on your given date. Thank you.